Welcome. My name is Steve Janz, and welcome to Intermediate Management Accounting. What I've done is I've recorded a number of lectures for this course, and in these lectures we are going to discuss the more challenging areas of this course. Our first one today is going to be on special order and opportunity cost. In your introductory management accounting class, you looked at the concept of contribution margin. Today, we're going to take it a little further. We're going to look at the concept of contribution margin per hour and how that changes how we view contribution margins. Now, I've provided you with the question and I've provided you with the solution. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the question assuming you've already tried working on the question yourself and you are maybe struggling or you just want a little refresher of the more challenging area of the question. So let's get started. It's special order, opportunity cost question. We're going to start with part B, and then I'm going to move on to part C. Welcome. Let's have some fun. So our first question here that we're looking at in this course, again, we're going to look at special orders, in this case part B. So we have an opportunity here. ABC has an opportunity to produce 300 special units for X electronics. And they're wondering, should they do that? Is it worth their while? So what we have to do is we have to look at the details and compare that to what we already produce, the radio and the phone. Let's get started. So what we can see here is that when we look at the radio and we look at the phone, we have a contribution margin per unit of the radio for 145. We have a contribution margin per unit for the phone of 174. Let's figure out what we have as a contribution margin per unit for the special order. The selling price of the special order will be $250. What are our costs? Well, we're told that our first cost will be direct materials of $19,000. So $19,000 for our direct materials. And because we're producing 300 units, that will come out to $63.33 per unit. How about the other direct costs? Our other direct costs are $8,000 over our 300 units. That'll come out to $26.67. Our last cost is the indirect cost. Now, how do we calculate that? Well, two steps. We are told that it's going to take us 225 machine hours. So 225 machine hours. Multiply that by the rate of our variable indirect manufacturing cost, which is $40 per machine hour. So 225 times $40 is equal to $9,000. $9,000 divided by 300 will give us an indirect cost rate of $30. Now, when we put it all together, we take our selling price minus our variable costs, we get our contribution margin. That is our basic formula for the contribution margin. We get $130. So what you can see here is that the lowest contribution margin per unit is the special order. Now you're sitting back and you're going, well, that makes it the least profitable product. Hold on. That's where this becomes really interesting. What we have to focus on is the fact that it takes less time to maybe make some of these units versus the other units. So what we need to do is we need to then focus on the number of machine hours over here and calculate that and come up with our contribution margin per machine hour. So let's work on that right now. So our contribution margin per unit for the radio was 145. For the phone, it's 174. And for our special order, it's 130. Now, the number of machine hours that we need for each of these will be calculated as this. So number of machine hours will equal $30, which is the indirect cost, divided by $40, which is our indirect manufacturing cost applied per machine hour. So you can see here it takes 0.75 hours to make one radio unit. Now we need to do a similar calculation for the phone and the special order. We're told that the indirect manufacturing costs for the phone are $44. So $44 divided by our standard rate of 40 means that it takes 1.10 hours to make the phone. So what you can see right now is that the phone takes longer to make than the radio. Let's look at the special order. Special order, $30 divided by our standard rate of 40, we get 0.75. So you can see there that the radio and the special order take the same amount of time to make. So when you now do your calculations, and we'll move back over here to our original schedule, you can see that we're going to get some interesting numbers. So let's move back over here, and we're going to take a look now at our contribution margin per machine hour. So contribution margin per machine hour. And we'll introduce our information. So 0.75, 1.10, and 0.75. And what you will see now is our contribution margin per machine hour, 193.33, 158.18, 173.33. So what you now notice is that the radio is the most profitable per machine hour. The special order is number 2, and the phone is actually last. Originally, when we looked at this from purely contribution margin, the phone looked the best. Now it looks the lowest. And remember, what is our scarce resource? It's the machine hours. So we want to maximize our ability to use our machine hours. As you heard me give this example in class, you have an opportunity this Saturday to go and work at a part-time job. You can work 8 hours and make $80. So you're making $10 an hour. Or you can go and work 2 hours at a different job and make $40. So you're making $20 an hour. So which one do you want? Do you want to work 8 hours and make 80, or 2 hours and make 40? Yes, you will sacrifice maybe a little bit overall, but you will work a lot less. And that's what we're looking for in business here, is that when we have an opportunity to maximize our business, we want to maximize it with our scarce resource. Therefore, this special order is very attractive to us. Now let's move on to part C. Let's look at what we're going to have to calculate for our opportunity cost. We just looked at contribution margin per hour and the power behind it. Now let's look at opportunity cost and capacity, and what we have to gain and what we have to sacrifice. So let's move to part C over here. Now in part C, we are told that we're operating at 95% full capacity. And we have 1,000 machine hours available to us. That means that we have free capacity of 5%. So free capacity at 5% times 1,000 hours means that we have 50 free hours. Now the hours needed for our special order, we are told, equal 225. So therefore, we're going to have to sacrifice 175 hours in making another product. So what an opportunity cost means is that if you choose to do one item, in this case the special order, you're going to have to give up manufacturing another type of product. Hopefully overall you gain, but you have to recognize that the opportunity cost means that you also will lose elsewhere. But overall you're hoping that your gain is much higher than what you lose. So when we look at this now, we have to make a decision. Which product do we sacrifice? Well, we calculated the contribution margin per hour, and it definitely showed us that we wanted to sacrifice the phone. We want to give up the phone because we make the least amount per hour with the phone versus the radio. So we have to sacrifice 175 hours. So if we look at this from the phone's perspective, we know that we have to sacrifice 175 hours. And each phone requires us to use 1.1 hours. Therefore, we're going to have to sacrifice 160 units. Now, what's our opportunity cost? Well, our contribution margin for the phone is $174 per unit. If we are sacrificing 160 units, we are going to have an opportunity cost of $27,840. That is our opportunity cost. But what are we going to offset that with? Well, we're going to offset that with our special order. And our special order allows us to sell 300 units at a contribution margin of $130 per unit. We are going to gain $39,000. So what you can see here is that we're going to gain $39,000. Our opportunity cost is a loss of $27,840. So we are going to gain $11,160, which is fantastic. And that's what we want to achieve. So that is the power of the contribution margin per unit, and that is also how we analyze our use of excess capacity and what we need to sacrifice to satisfy the most profitable method for our company. Thank you.